This will be the last fireside chat on modularity or parts. And I think it's fair for any viewer to ask, why is this important, Frank? I'm not a therapist. Well, it's quite important in understanding yourself and others just in your normal play through life. If you go to church, you're going to see a variety of modules. If you're involved in business, you're going to see a variety of modules. And if you go to a grocery store, you're going to see a variety of modules. And to understand it is quite important, because the second answer is that this is important for forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others. One of the ways we would communicate it is we would talk about the gumball machine. We would say that everybody has modules in their head, just like gumballs in a gumball machine. And that it's good to understand these so you can decipher it. If you're in marriage, for goodness sakes, that's another reason this is important. You need to recognize that your partner will occasionally get in the modules, and you do not want to generalize that and start emphasizing as the one main truth. I will occasionally get into an anger puff, and my wife will recognize it and usually abandon me and walk out of the room. And it takes me a few seconds to realize I just got in a gumball. That didn't have anything to do with her. And then I will curiously go search her out to see if she is sulking and still holding on to a generalization that I'm a stupid oaf. But unbelievable wife that I have, she doesn't hold on to things. And so she understands modules or gumballs or parts, whatever you want to call it. Another reason why this is important is that you have relatives. And if you're a parent, children. If you're a grandparent, grandchildren. And in our case, great-grandchildren. And the question is how to recognize a part and how to minimize it. So one thing you can do, and this is not profound psychotherapy, is you can distract. I remember when my mother would get into her sibling rivalry thing, I'd say, oh my goodness, Mom, did you see that robin out there in the yard? It's just jumping along. And she said, oh, isn't that lovely? And she was an artistic person, and she would say something about it. But I would continually switch her. I would get her to get out of that sick old space from the past. I wasn't her therapist. My options were limited, and I could distract her. Oh, look, my goodness, did you see that red-tailed hawk flying through the sky? It is so, oh, honey, that is one. You know, this is one reason modularity is quite important. And you want to watch, if you're a grandparent, if the family is getting a set on one module of a kid. So they begin to think, he's a rebel. And they brainwash this kid with this word rebel over and over and over again. Any little act of his, whether he doesn't comb his hair or doesn't wear shoes outside in the winter, he's a rebel. Now, as a grandparent, you have to watch that, and you have to say, no, I think he's quite independent. He thinks, and he wants to live life in a beautiful, free manner. So we're always reinterpreting the behavior of another, because we do not want that module to get so stuck that the person the rest of the life pounds people with, I got to have my way, I'm a big rebel. Well, another reason is that if you want a close, loving relationship, and I've already touched on this, you need to just, like my wife does with me, just recognize one anger puff is just steam that needs to be released in the air. And also you need to catch yourself if you slip into a strange place. Well, I won't belabor you with modularity anymore. I think it is quite important, not just for us as therapists, but for you as a citizen of the world living in a community and being around others. So I will only add one other thing, and that is I'll move on to presuppositions, which is a magical option in terms of language in the next set of chats. And if you don't know modularity, now let me say this positively. If you do learn modularity, it will help you in terms of presuppositional usage.